Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. Because creators are businesses.
What we do is not simple.
Give, the fans everything that they deserve.
Being creative
is like doing a 5,000 piece puzzle.
Is something that you can learn and do over and over again.
Always be as authentic as I can be.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am thrilled today to have Miss Kennedy Player-Reid with me. She is currently the social media manager for the Ottawa Charge, the PWHL. I am thrilled that we are getting to talk to her today. Kennedy, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk some PWHL.
Yes, 24 years old, and you have been in this world of not only sports, but hockey, of baseball, of all of these things for quite some time now. You fully immersed yourself. What got you started in sports, first of all? Set the stage for us. Where did your love begin?
Yeah, so I've been skating for pretty much as long as I can remember. I don't know any different. So my dad had me enrolled in hockey from the age of 3.
Okay.
So that's kind of where my love for hockey started. Fun fact, I actually hated it when I first started because I couldn't skate and everyone else was skating circles around me with the little red things that you use to learn to skate. And my dad wouldn't let me use one. So shout out to him because I'm probably a better skater for it. But I hated the sport when I first started for, I don't know, a couple months. Didn't last very long. But anyways, it played competitively growing up my whole life. Actually still do. So I knew I've always wanted to be involved in sports and specifically hockey, even more specifically women's hockey. I just didn't know, growing up there wasn't really a platform for it at the time, aside from international play. So I was kind of in between jobs when the league started, luckily. And as soon as it launched, I kind of knew I wanted to get back into the hockey world after I spent some time with the Hamilton Bulldogs in the OHL. So, I wanted to get back into hockey at that point, and it kind of just felt like perfect timing for me. So,
love it.
Applied, and within a month, I had the role and was all packed up and moved to Ottawa.
Love it. And such an incredible time to be part of the PWHL too, with not only just it starting, but the expansion, and hopefully more cities are going to get teams as well. It's an incredible time to be a part of this organization and just overall the league and the growth of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about the league and both the Charge organization. It's been a great experience so far, and being able to be a part of it from literally day one too was incredible. Like I feel like I've grown with the team. I've grown with the players on the team, with everyone on our staff, and it's been great to, kind of build that relationship with not only the players on the team, but the Charge staff, the league staff, like everyone. We're small but mighty, as we like to say. So it's just one happy family for us.
Love it. I want to just, looking at your full career and what you've done so far, has there been one opportunity that looked maybe small at first, but really turned out to change the direction of your career so far?
Yeah, I grew up a Bulldogs fan. I grew up in Hamilton, so I was a fan of them for very long time, was always a big OHL fan as well. So once the Bulldogs moved to Hamilton from Belleville, I went to all their games. My mom and I were always right behind the bench. We were there for the championship in 2018. And then my internship in 4th year, I knew I wanted to work with them in a official capacity. I'd kind of volunteered around the rink before then and worked with like volunteer writing organizations to write for them, but I was never with the team in an official capacity. So as soon as I saw the internship pop up, I knew that's what I wanted. And I was lucky enough, they reached out to me and basically said to me, it's yours if you want it. So they kind of already knew who I was, which was nice. And I kind of had built some of those relationships already. And My internship wasn't until January, and they brought me on in September and basically gave me the social media logins and said go crazy. And I think that was huge because I kind of logged in with like not any real idea of what I was doing, but they just put full trust in me, and that was an opportunity that, I felt like I couldn't really turn down, but I was also like terrified. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was great that they trusted me that much, and I got a lot of compliments about my work with them over the time I was there. So
Fantastic.
I was mostly with them in a game day capacity, but they gave me a little bit of freedom to work in the office outside of game day as well. So yeah, it was a great opportunity, and I like to this day believe it set me up on the path that I'm on.
And you've primarily been in social media and marketing roles throughout your career. Is there, when you look back at, Kennedy when she first started in those roles to now, like the pieces of content you'd be creating, what do you think the version of you would say about where you are now and the growth that you've had?
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like to think back about it. Like I think about, like I just said, when I logged into those accounts and I had literally no idea what I was doing. They're just like tweet about hockey. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know. Like luckily I know the game of hockey very well. So it kind of just came to me naturally. But yeah, like I was given the charge accounts when I started here and essentially, told to go wild, and I had a lot of ideas and a lot of content I wanted to put into play, and it felt so much more comfortable, so much easier.
Yeah.
I was familiar with a lot of the players because I've followed women's hockey my whole life, and I was honestly really excited to just give them a platform that they deserve. So, yeah, like I think looking back, younger me would be like so insanely happy with where I'm at and proud of what I've done. And yeah, it's like so surreal sometimes to think that, you know, I'm kind of in this position and have made a name for myself, and I'm still so young and have so far to go in my career.
Now, you've worked when you were with the Hamilton Bulldogs, you were in that, game day social capacity. You're doing similar things today with Ottawa. What's your kind of chaotic, calm routine that like really helps you stay sharp when everything is really going all at once?
Yeah, honestly, like I don't really know that I have anything like specific that I do. Like one thing that stands out to me is we had a game that went into triple or no, quadruple overtime in the playoffs in May, and I like look at what I was saying basically because I got to, like the game ended, I sat down for a few minutes and I was like, what just happened? Like what are we doing here? So I think like I don't know, I think I'm good at just kind of locking in and like knowing and trusting myself enough to know what I'm doing and not really have to worry about too much. But yeah, I feel like things change so much and so fast that I can't really set a routine for myself or I'm gonna get so like crazy in my head and think that things are off. So
Yeah. How do you like to balance being a fan of the game while still like being a strategist for the brand, like having to think through all these little different pieces that goes into running a social media brand for a team like this?
I'm a big believer that in order to do my job, you kind of have to be a fan. Like you can't, it would be really hard to do what I do without having a genuine care and appreciation for the players and what they're doing. And with that also comes, they need to trust you with what you're doing because you're building their brand in turn. So I think, just apply for these roles in sports that with players that and if you don't know them, get to know them and show them that you're making an effort to know who they are, not just as athletes, but as people as well. Um, Also, like we have a great relationship with the Senators here in Ottawa. So, like, obviously, I'm a big hockey fan. So to kind of connect with them and, then we're catering to two markets. So, working to Sens fans and to Charge fans, it's a great way to kind of keep the balance there. And I also feel like my brain is just like social media all the time. Like it's been rewired the idea or anything like that.
I've been talking a lot with other social media managers across sports industries, whether it be NBA, NHL, all the different leagues, about how to build that trust with teams and the players because you are making a lot of content that is centered so much around them. How do you like to approach building that trust with your Ottawa Charge players and how, like, that whole process for you?
Yeah, it's honestly, I haven't had like we have such a great group of players that I haven't had any issues with any of them. And I think being female, working with female athletes also kind of helps that relationship. Like it's a lot more relatable than it was for me to be working with the boys in the OHL, for example. But at the same time, like yeah, I'm building their brand at the same time. So, I have to be careful with what I'm doing. I've been really open and honest with all of them. Like if, I'm asking them to make something for me, I tell them what they're doing, what it'll be. If they say something and they ask me not to post it, that's that. It's not getting posted. Anything that might make them, look any sort of negative or anything they don't want posted, I think the best thing to do in that situation is not post it. That's the best way to build their trust and let them know that, my job is to make them look good. Everything I do is to make them look good and help them make a name for themselves. And, I've had a few situations where we've posted something and a player's messaged me and been like, hey, I don't like how this looks, or I don't like how this is like depicting me. Can it be taken down? Like immediately, yes, no questions asked.
When I mean, when you hopped into Ottawa Charged and they handed you those social logins, what's how do you go about with such a brand new team and such a brand new league building a team's social identity from scratch? Where do you start?
Yeah, it was tough because I'm also not from Ottawa. So it was a lot of learning the market and learning what they want to see and what, they kind of want out of us, while being unfamiliar with the city itself. So I give a lot of credit to the league. They set me up in a really good position. And like my boss at the league level is amazing and she gave me a lot of help in the starting processes. But as camp opened up and, our players came in, I got a little bit I don't want to say a little bit more control, but the people were here that the like all the fans wanted to see. So it was up to me to come up with all these ideas and start creating content with them. So it was a lot of coming up with the ideas, approaching the players, them agreeing to do it, posting it, seeing how it performed, seeing what fans like, what they don't like, what they want to see more of. We've done a lot of fan engagement stuff in the city, both for events and on social. And we have a great fan base here in Ottawa. They love our team with all of their hearts, and it's great. We appreciate it so much. So, yeah, like the fans have made it easy. They'll engage with pretty much anything that I post, which is great. But yeah, it was all about just kind of seeing what they like and what they don't like.
What's your process for, turning maybe a game moment into something that is like emotionally resonating with people or something that is a little bit more storytelling? Like, how do you turn those pieces into something that fans will connect with? It's not just a goal, it's not just these things that are happening on the ice.
Yeah, good question. I have an amazing content team with me. I have a photo and video as well. So, um, pretty much 99.9% of the time something happens on the ice, I'll reach out to both of them, say, did you get that? 99% of the time the answer is yes. So they kind of have the content ready to pass on. We had a player who sang the national anthem at one of our games last year, and it was a surprise for the fans and the other players. Nobody knew about it. So that was obviously a big moment that we want to post before anybody else does. So team was amazing with that. She finished singing and immediately they were in the room and editing it and sending it to me to get sent out. So I think it's a lot about the speed at which content's getting out. As the team posting it, we want to be the first to get it out and beat the networks out to doing it. And yeah, I think just like knowing the human aspect of the moments is really important. Like like I said earlier, like they're not just athletes, they're all people. And I think knowing them all on a more personal level kind of helps with that too. Like we can, you know, give them the personality photos they want, or, we know which ones want the big selly photos and which ones are going to have big sellies. And in the event that, somebody isn't much of a seller and they have a big one, it's like, okay, we got to get that. We have to get the footage. We have to get the content because we know the fans are going to love it. So I think it's just a lot about getting the emotion of the moment and not so much the moment itself.
Now, you're really helping to shape the social voice of a new sports team in a league that's really redefining women's hockey. What has that responsibility felt like for you?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I definitely want to always be showing them in a positive light, and like my wording matters, language matters. So it's a balance between having fun with it and letting the players and the fans have some like leeway in what they're doing and saying and all that, but also kind of keeping it professional as well. Like we have a voice and I want to follow the voice and I want to have fun, but it's a business and it's my job. So it definitely has to stay professional as well.
There with, women's hockey, men's hockey's been around for forever. And I mean, women's hockey is this new league has really brought light to a lot of little girls who are looking around going, I can do this too. I can play hockey just like the guys. You are kind of you got to do that yourself. How do you like approaching, introducing fans to players in the game who might be new to, what women's hockey is and who these incredible women are?
Yeah, it's been like honestly one of my favorite parts of the job. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to play in the NHL. Like obviously that's not possible.
Right.
So like one of my favorite things has been hearing little girls say like when I grow up I want to play in the PWHL. I'm like, "Yes, you do. It's amazing." And like it has been my favorite thing to hear. Our players are it is absolutely not lost on them what they're doing, and the impact that they're having on the younger generation. And like I love getting those moments on video and photos of the fans interacting with the younger girls and even the younger boys. Like we've had such a good experience with kids of like anything. So yeah, it's like I said, probably my favorite part of the job is just being able to like be a part of it and experience that. And I know I wanted to play in the league, but like being a part of it like this is the next best thing I could have ever wished for.
And while there might not be a lot of people who are able to come to a game, who are able to see a game live, but love to be a fan, love to still support and watch the team, how does it feel to know your content might be someone's first experience watching pro women's hockey or being a part of that world?
Yeah, it makes me want to have the best content there is. Like we've had comments and DMs and stuff saying like, "Hey, I'm a fan in the Czech Republic," because we had a lot of Czech players. So like to see the reach that we're having, and like people in the Czech would be watching our games starting at like 2 in the morning. So like the fact that, they're able to engage and see our content and be a part of it from the other side of the world where like we obviously don't exist is like one of the best things ever. I love it.
Now, how do you like what kind of storytelling or content do you think will help women's sports grow the fastest? Is there something that you're really seeing that is growing, is getting a lot of engagement, that is really hitting those storytelling marks?
Yeah, I think honestly, like sharing the highlights is a big stepping stone. I think like a lot of people never really have watched women's hockey until this league started. And I think having like a consistency in like the content that we're putting out and in the product of the league and the highlights that we're putting out, it really shows everyone like, oh wow, there is women's hockey to be watched. This is a thing. This is a good platform and the product is fantastic. Like we're doing everything that the men in the NHL can do. Right. And I feel like a lot of people leading up to this would see like you know, highlights in the men's game and think, oh, women couldn't do that. Or, like that's a big, huge misconception I think a lot of people had, that by us being able to show these highlights all throughout the year with a professional league kind of shows them like, hey, look, we're here too.
Yeah. Now, with how much social media is changing, we've got AI, we've got short form content, we've got, constant platform changes. What excites you the most with your social media hat about where sports media is headed?
Yeah, I think it's just getting started, honestly. Like social media is growing literally every single day, and it's so cool for me in the role that I'm in to see the changes in platforms and kind of see how I can adapt my content and what I'm creating to, blow up and reach a bigger audience, so to speak. I think in Ottawa too, like we're so connected with all the other teams, and I think showing up for all of them kind of helps us as well. And um, we work with them a lot, and I think that in itself just kind of reaches bigger audiences alone. But yeah, I think like social media every day, adding new tools and kind of working with what we got definitely helps us in that aspect too.
I've been in social media for 10 years, and every morning I wake up, I'm like, well, what has changed today?
Yeah,
What are we dealing
exactly.
with?
It's always different. Like I feel like I'm learning something new like at least once a week. I'm like, okay, how can I put this to my advantage?
I was just discussing something this with somebody not too long ago of, LinkedIn polls were massive for everybody for forever. Like every company page, every team page had a poll that was going out. Polls are just dead now on LinkedIn. Like it is so crazy to see just how things change very, very quickly on social, and that's what
Yeah.
really keeps you on your toes.
Even like in season one, I remember like for all the goals that we were scoring and stuff, I was posting them in real format and they were doing so well. And then in the start of season two, I was posting them in reels and it was just completely flopping. And I was like, what is going on? Completely switched to carousels.
Yeah.
And even to this day, like the algorithm picks up carousels more. I don't know why, but like reels still are struggling. And I know that that's been a sticking point in the league, but like all teams are kind of experiencing the same thing. I'm assuming it's an algorithm thing.
I
But
would love if Instagram would figure out if they liked the photo format or like the video format.
yeah,
Like if you're gonna have both, you might just want to like both.
yeah. So, things like that. Like I always want to know what is performing the best, obviously, and because I want as much people as possible to see it. So, yeah, just like recognizing those patterns and adapting on the fly. Because, some days I'm like, I really want to post this as a reel. And then the day before I posted a reel and it flops. And I'm like, okay, maybe we won't do that.
How do you see, the role of of a team social media manager really evolving in the next few years?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, just from like my experience in the last few years, like like we just talked about, the platforms are always changing, the content is always changing, what's doing well is always changing. So I think just like knowing how to adapt and how to kind of maneuver everything, especially in my role, like in sports, everything is always changing on the fly, like not with anything to do with the platforms, just the content, the plans, the games, practices, everything. Like there's so many moving parts that, I think you just have to be aware and able to adapt on the fly, no matter what you're doing. And yeah, like I don't know. It's a little bit hard to answer. Like I feel like there's just so much changing all the time that like the biggest thing is you just kind of have to be able to adapt and be able to adjust to those changes because like it's hard to predict how things are going to change.
What is exciting you most about this upcoming season with the Ottawa Charge and just further seasons with this team? What has you most excited?
Yeah, I think watching the league grow every year has been great. Like in season one, we did great in attendance with our fans. They were like so here for our team. And last year we got even better. So I think continuing to see the league grow, continuing to see our fan base grow and the different ways in which our fans will show up to our team, like they show up in costume, they show up with, I don't know if you've heard about the kazoo epidemic here, but they like started bringing kazoo, like that was entirely fan driven, which is crazy. Like we had a group that brought like, I don't know, like 100 kazoos to a game maybe, and then the next game they had like 500, and it just became a thing. So like I think just it's so exciting to see what they do and what the things that they start and the trends that they bring to us that we can then build off of and make content with. And we're really excited to keep building that relationship with our fans. And personally, like I'm excited to go out west this year. I've never been, so those will be fun trips, and two really great hockey teams that are joining the league as well.
Now, you've worked both behind the camera and in front of it. How have those mentalities shaped the way you tell athlete stories? Like how you pull things out of these athletes and really get to the crux of their story and their journeys.
It's funny you bring that up because when I was in school, I actually wanted to be on air, like no question. And then I took an on-air class and was like, maybe this is not for me. And I decided I never wanted to do that again. And then when I was with the Bulldogs, as I mentioned, I had been with that team for a long time. I was really familiar with all the players, the history, like pretty much everything about them. And one of my bosses there approached me and asked if I wanted to do something on air. And I was like, whoa, was really hesitant. He was like, I wouldn't ask you if I didn't think you were capable. So that, like, knowing that someone else kind of had faith in me kind of, you know, made me excited to do it. But anyway, I think it's you have to be careful with what you're saying. And how, as I mentioned earlier, you're here like building a brand for the athletes as well. So I think just being mindful, talking to them, getting to know them as human beings, not as players or athletes, is really important. And really touching into their personality. Like you have to build off of, we have a lot of great personalities on the charge. So I think building off of that, knowing what they would want, things they would say, making, like, they're so funny,
Yeah.
showing how funny they are, like really just enhancing their personality through the storytelling, whether it's through photo, through video, with the mini mic, like whatever we're doing, just really pulling the personality out of them.
I think it's hard sometimes too, like athletes have so many like media and things and cameras always pushed in their face that when a team wants to do it, there's these expectations of like, oh, another camera's gonna be put in my face. And it's really how to calm that down more, where it's not asking so many questions about the game. But
Yeah, I think part of it that I learned when I was working with the guys as well, but I'm a big believer in this, is knowing who they get along with the best on the team and knowing which other players are going to bring that personality out of them. Like when I was with the OHL guys, like, they don't want to be funny on camera. They don't want to be goofy, show their real personalities. They're locked in. They want to get it done and that's it. And we're trying to film a fun Christmas video, and that kind of mentality isn't working for us. So we got a group of 5 of them that we knew would be, they're comfortable with each other, and it was the funniest thing I've ever experienced filming something in my life. Like it was so like raw and real, and like they were hilarious. They were goofing around, like coming up with ideas on the fly on their own. And we had the same 5 people try and do the shoot by themselves, and it was nothing like that. So it's a little easier with the girls, I think.
yeah.
They're a little bit more open with us to begin with. But yeah, I think just knowing who you compare people with to bring out the most in their personality.
Kennedy, my last question for you is just what keeps you inspired? What keeps you motivated and that spark alive in you with your role, with being in the PWHL, all these things?
Yeah, I think just thinking back to me as a little kid and like dreaming of something like this. Like I know I look at like photos of me learning how to play hockey and like my first few years in hockey, my little photo, and I'm like one of the only girls. Like I grew up playing girls hockey, but I had 3 years when I was learning to play and it was co-ed.
Okay.
And I think my first year or my second year, there's a group photo of everyone that was in that year, and there's not too many girls in there. So it's growing like crazy. Like even looking back on the amount of teams that are there, like when I was playing, it was called novice back then. I want to say it's U9 now. There weren't any competitive teams. So I played house league and that was that, and I didn't really know any different. Now there's so many, like an option at every level. So just to see it continue growing, and knowing the impact that we're having on the girls coming up through those age groups, like hosting camps and seeing how quickly they're selling out and how excited the girls are to be here. And like it's the way they're reacting to seeing these players, like it's the way that I would have reacted as a kid to meeting an NHL player. Like these are their heroes, and it's like literally one of the best things in the world to experience, because like I would have given anything to have that as a kid. So to know that there's this platform for all these girls, and to know that they can dream of doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful, Kennedy. And I so appreciate you coming here and share more about this journey that you've been on. And I like truly like I think what the PWHL is doing, what the WNBA is doing, all these women's leagues is making a huge difference for this younger group of girls that is coming up behind us that is saying, hey, it's not just a boys' place anymore. We can go play too.
Yeah, 100%. That's the main message I want to share through my whole job is, like I said, I wanted to play in the NHL as a kid, and now being able to hear these like 9-year-olds say that they're going to play in the PWHL one day. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
keep saying that. Like keep dreaming. It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. Kennedy, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story about and more about your career. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you guys, I'm going to have all of Kennedy's socials linked down below. Please go give her a follow. Stay in tune with everything that she's doing. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.